Hello again. Today we're talking about a very important topic, so you don't need to skip, okay? Because if you skip, you are missing a very important lecture today. So this video is for those students who want to pass IELTS, Duolingo, Oxford, PTE, or if you want to go abroad, or if you are appearing in an interview. So this class is going to help you a lot. Actually, sometimes when we are speaking English, when we are taking an interview, we are appearing in a test. So there comes a problem. Actually, I know English. For example, I have good command over English, but sometimes I run short of words. For example, the person asks me information. When was Ali born? Let's suppose. When was Zia born? When was Gloria born? Or where is Gloria from? So I know English, but there is lack of information now. So English is not the problem, but for example, if I have problem with information, so then I need to take time. Okay? For example, I don't know something, so I need to take time. So when we non-native speakers take time, so there we make a very big mistake. We actually need fillers. So there are some good fillers and there are some bad fillers. Fillers means the words or the expressions that fill the gap. For example, I am thinking about something. Let's suppose someone asked me about where Vienna is. Vienna. And I don't know. So my English is good. I don't have any problem in English. But let's suppose I don't know where it is. So at that time, there occurs a problem. You need a filler now. So when you need a filler, so there are some good fillers and there are some bad fillers also. So today we will talk about good fillers and bad fillers. Let's suppose you say, oh, these two are very bad fillers. These two, and oh, they just ruin your confidence. When you use and oh and oh, these kinds of fillers, so then there is a big problem. Okay, what's the problem? That you just watch videos, you just listen to native speakers, ask them. They don't like these and oh fillers. So if you go with, well, for example, I don't know something, okay? I can even forget my birthday. Someone asks about my birthday, so I can even forget that. And I say, well, actually, will be in my mouth. I won't be silent. And here in my mind, I'll be busy collecting the details. I'll be recalling, I'll be thinking, I'll be gathering information. So if there is it's a filler, so it will be good filler. Let me think. You can say that also. Well, let me think. For example, someone asks you, social media is good or social media is bad. So you know that social media has good impacts and it also has bad impacts. So you can't go with either of the answers. You can't say it's good, you can't say it's bad. Sometimes it depends whether you psychologically understand that what the tester wants to say, what the tester's mindset is. Sometimes you will understand that I should agree with the tester or I should disagree with the tester. So you will go accordingly. But if you need time, so you will say, let me think, that's a very good topic. For example, I ask you, what do you think social media is good for young people or it's bad for young people? So it's a very difficult topic. If you say totally good, so you are wrong. If you say it's bad, so you are wrong. So now you're confused. So when you're confused and you say, or these sorts of things, so that's not good English. But when you say, well, let me think. Yes, no problem. So these are good fillers. Some people use like a lot. You listen to them like, you know what? Like. Okay, so using like a lot is also a very big problem. So instead of using like, you use like once, no problem. For example, you are speaking English, so you use like, you used well, you use for example, but don't use them again and again. So when you use like once, so next you can say for example. For instance, let's take the instance of this. Let's take the example of this thing. So if you fill your pause with for example, so that will be good. Then that's a very big problem of the non-native speakers, particularly Indians and Pakistanis. Actually, I talk about Indians and Pakistanis because I listen to these two countries' people and I am well aware of their English competency and I know the loopholes in their English. I know a lot. So therefore, I mention these two countries. Now, these videos will be for German, for French, for Chinese, for other non-native speakers also. So I mentioned these two countries because we are neighboring countries and actually we are well aware of each other's English. That's why. So when we use like again and again, so it is a bad impression. Now, there is another problem. Some people again and again say, you know, you know, you know, you know. Again and again they say, you know, you know. Actually, you know what? Actually, you know. So this is also a big problem. You should fill the pause with as you know. So when you use as you know, so there will be confidence, there will be no pausing, there will be actually, your English will sound good. Now, the next one, if you use so again, so, I was very thirsty, so I drank water, I was happy, so I went. So again and again, if you use so, it will be very surface English. So if you use thus, okay, thus is also a very good filler. You can also use consequently, because both tell the reasons, or we can say that both conclude something. So, thus, consequently, if you use these fillers fit, and they fit the best, and your English will be very good if you use the last one. As I said earlier, that people use actually, you know what, actually, you know, like these are fillers, but as I said, if you use them again and again, so your English will not be proper. Okay, so if you use instead of actually, use actually once, no problem. But next you should use in fact, the truth is. So when you use these fillers, remember English should be spoken smoothly. There shouldn't be pauses and these kind of things. Nowadays, English proficiency tests are also very difficult. They're tough, and chicken has become very difficult. So that's why if you speak smooth English, and one thing more last tip I want to give you. Let's suppose you pause. You don't know anything. Okay? So you don't need a filler. At that time, you stop for a while. For example, where were you yesterday? Instead of this, if you say, I was in Malakand yesterday. No problem. That's right. But avoid using and these two are never good fillers. Okay, never use them. You can use the others. Use once, like, then you can use you know also sometimes. So actually, but don't repeat them and never use these two fillers. Thanks a lot. If you liked our video, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.